to Instagram for Business. So what's working for people? What's working for people with Instagram right now? We heard some challenges. We heard some boosted posts that aren't getting a lot of traction. What is working?
So my videos are working, and I have been putting out a lot of either videos of walkthroughs of properties or videos of the 3D Matterport of the properties that I have done with walkthroughs. Those have gotten a lot of hits. They've also received, what we've gotten really is not necessarily hits, but direct messages or phone calls from the videos in terms of interest on the property, which was really helpful during the initial phase of the shutdown in showing the spaces. And now some of those spaces have been leased. So the videos were helpful for us in the sense of Instagram. And then in terms of, I guess, marketing them and like boosting them, we don't boost in Florida. All of our boosting is done in New York, Chicago, California, and other parts of the country that we think are interested in coming here. Anybody that's in Florida already knows how to look for our stuff. They're on the MLS if they're active brokers. And we've probably, we market outside of here.
And do you think you get better traction from the full posts or from the IG stories?
I haven't started the IG stories at all, so I'm curious about that. I am strictly just posts. I typically do a video and then I try to do some extra photos. So in between the 1 and 15 range that they allow, I'm pretty basic level, but it's been working for us the last few months.
Is anyone having good success with Instagram stories too?
Josh,
Kind of pull people in for your main posts?
I've been using Instagram stories to sort of test to decide what to put on my feed and being a little bit more informal. And then if something gets great interaction and direct messages, then I create sort of the larger story in the feed about it. And I've also used stories to drive people to the posts in my feed.
When you do a story, how long does it stay up on Instagram, or does it go away? What's the difference?
24 hours with the story. So if I see something that gets a lot of interaction and using polls and gets lots of DMs, then I'll use that later in the week to create sort of the longer form post.
Okay.
And that's been working fairly well for me over the last couple of months. But I'm up in New York City, so that's a whole different scenario.
Maybe Lisa, wouldn't it? No.
So there's a question in the chat. Maybe someone can chime in. What does everyone use for drip campaigns?
All right, I'll ask. I'm not familiar with what you would consider a drip campaign.
Well, the question was from Annette. So maybe Annette wants to unmute themselves and see and share what their question is. I usually think of a drip campaign as an email, you know, kind of an email tickler type of campaign where you kind of nurture that contact from your CRM. But maybe they had something else in mind. Yes, automatic CRM campaigns. That was their question. So if you have a CRM that does your emailing for you.
Constant contact or eye contact. You have to load in all of the information from your contacts. But you can set it up as automated. I use eye contact.
My CRM, I use Real Geeks, and my CRM has that built in. I always recommend, you know, people spending a little money and getting a good CRM with that has the drip campaign. I know Boomtown is a real fan favorite. It's expensive, but Real Geeks isn't that expensive. You know, you're somewhere in that 200 to 250, and they do have drip campaigns. So yeah, you could look that up. Real Geeks. It's a CRM platform. It has a lot of features. You can text through it. I mean, you can do a plethora of things.
Thank you. Anybody else? Anybody else use any other platforms?
We use Follow Up Boss, which is also similar to Real Geeks. You can also text from it and set up auto campaigns as well. So it's a CRM and does the drip campaigns. And they have an app, so you can also send your emails or text through the app as well.
Okay, that's pretty neat.
Yeah.
The texting is definitely very popular.
Yeah.
And get a lot more hits than the emails.
Yeah, exactly.
Would you say that program again?
It's called Follow Up Boss.
Looks like in the chat we have some people who really love HubSpot, KV Core, which Kai's pays for, and then another shout out to Real Geeks. Good Instagram question here. What effective strategies do you use with Instagram to gain followers and millennial crowds?
I think it's important nowadays to post more informational stuff or fun things like, you know, polls or you know, cute pictures, or like Josh was saying, you know, video tours when you're showing a home, or, you know, things like that, just to get people engaged, not selling them. People don't want to be sold anything. So I think if you just make it fun and interesting and more about you or the neighborhood, or a friend of mine who's a realtor, she did a great job the other day of doing a video going through a neighborhood and asking people, what neighborhood am I in? Guess what neighborhood I'm in. And then people were guessing what neighborhood she was in. And then she was like, she was in Hollywood in a neighborhood. And then she said, hey, if anybody wants to see homes in this neighborhood for under 300,000, hit me up. And she said she got a couple of people that were like, wow, you know, that's interesting. So it's just being different and being, you know, just being a fun person, showing your personality, not being a stiff salesperson. And people don't want to see that, especially the millennials. They want something fun. Show where you're at dinner. Well, maybe not now, but show you know, what you're having for dinner. People want to know who you are. The business will come. I think somebody said earlier, it's not about getting instant gratification. It doesn't work that way. I've been online for, you know, a few years, and it's just now people are noticing, oh, you do real estate. You know, even friends I used to work with at an old company I was with, you know, it just, being informative and fun, and the business will come. It'll follow you.
That's right. I saw a great idea to use one of the 360 tour apps for your neighborhoods. Do an IMO viewer for a local park.
Yeah, there you go.
Or a local rec area. And, people are looking for those immersive experiences with some, local color that you can add in the video. I thought that was a really great idea.
Another thing I saw too was somebody suggested, go to local, and now more than ever, local business owners need promotion and need marketing and need business. So go to a local shop that's open and interview the owner or whatever. Just do a quick 1-minute interview. Hey, are you guys doing, takeout? Are you doing dine-in? How's, and they'll love it. And then they'll tag you. And that was another tip I learned too, was if you are at a restaurant or you're somewhere, tag the company, the business, because they're likely to re-tag it or repost it on their feed and it's another way to get recognition.
Right. And a great way to gain followers.
Yeah.
Organically.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
That's a good idea.
All right, so I want to jump in on what Lisa was saying in terms of having a fun post. Somebody in Miami, okay, his name is Nick Quay, Quay. If you guys look him up on Instagram, he has the absolute wildest and zaniest posts. He's a friend of ours. He's a paddleboarder, but what he does is he incorporates his listings with paddleboarding. Then he's got wild masks that he and his team wear, and it's a pretty wild video. And he doesn't just talk about the building or the house or the apartment. It's talking about the surrounding area, really selling the area and selling you on the lifestyle. And then, oh, by the way, we happen to be selling or listing this particular property. He'd be a really great example just to give you guys an idea of what you're looking for or an idea of what to try. I mean, he's off the charts. He happened to be in the Florida Realtors magazine this past month. But yeah, that's exactly what Lisa's talking about.
That's funny. I saw one of his listings the other day and it made me go look him up.
He's crazy.
It's totally out there, but you know what? It's working.
I just posted a link to his Instagram in the chat for everybody. He goes by Nick Tiger Quay. I saw him speak at Inman Connect last year, and this is when things were still in person. He came out on stage with a paddleboard and stood on the paddleboard to do his whole talk. And, sure, it's a shtick, but if it works for Carrot Top, it made me remember him.
Oh, yeah.
All right, we all have to find our shtick that works for us. But that.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Are you guys linking Instagram to any of your other sites, or do you have any of your other sites linking over? And if you don't, are you sharing the same post but just with different wording or a different platform? I typically do Instagram and then link it to Facebook. However, I've been told that sometimes Facebook takes my videos from Instagram a little differently, and so I should probably do one for Instagram and one for Facebook. And was just wondering what your thoughts were.
I use Hootsuite, which they have a paid version, but there's a free version where you can, I believe it's up to 2 or 3 platforms, and you can automate up to 30 posts at a time. So like, if you're posting once a day, you could actually do a whole month's worth of posts for free. Again, I know there's a paid version, but I believe it's up to 3 platforms, which you should only focus on 2 or 3 anyway. You don't need to be in all, ones you're comfortable with. I'm not a fan of Twitter. You know, I use Facebook and Instagram, but Twitter's not my thing. I just don't care for it. So I focus on those two. And it's a great platform to automate your social media, because, you know, you can get lost for hours a day trying to think of things to post. And this, you sit down on a Sunday or whatever and do a week or two's worth of stuff and it's done.
I foolishly do mine every single day. It's painful.
Yeah, it can eat up a few hours. Thank you.
So
Somebody
what have
posted
been your
the-
biggest successes with Instagram? Anything that surprised anybody?
You know what? Yes. I'm not only getting millennials that are looking. I would say that during this shutdown, in the most recent months, some of the older generation have learned how to get on social media. They're using it to see their family, their grandchildren, but some of the other active investors are also learning how to use it to connect with other brokers and agents. So yeah, I'm finding that I'm not just talking to young, it's a wide range of people that are looking right now. It's been really interesting.
And does anybody have any challenges that they've had with it? Any horror stories?
I'm sure there's horror stories. I have posted photos of listings with the wrong address. I have blasted them all over the place. Oh, sure. What are your best what are your best hashtags? What gets your best responses?
So I find that chopping your hashtags up into different categories, like 5 different categories, and using Instagram allows you 30 hashtags, and using all 30 of them gets the most response. You have your general ones, like if you're hosting an open house on Sunday, you know, hashtagging Sunday Fun Day, because that is Real Estate Agent Sunday Fun Day. Your general real estate ones, and then your real estate location ones, and then your branding hashtags. Are people going to search for you by your branding hashtag? Probably not. However, the more you use it, people will know you by your branding hashtag. So that's what I find gets the most engagement, and then developing a tribe of hashtags of like 4 to 5 that you use on every post, whether it's real estate related or personal. You have that tribe.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody. You know, this was the first session of this event. We're gonna head into our next session right now. There are other sessions going on. Track 1 right now is luxury home sales, and track 3 is on prospecting. This is track 2, and we'll be going on to the Grimaldi Law Firm, Commission Killers, learning how to keep your commissions in your pocket and getting it there on time. So I'm going to turn it over to Melinda. Thank you, everybody. This was a really, really fun, great first session.